Hey guys, Aziel here, and I'm back with another boss breakdown. And this time I'm going over Chimera Leo. This guy here is a hybrid monster, a Chimera, and one of its main attack aesthetics is poison, or in my game, miasmos. This guy is actually a sewer monster, so to speak, where in almost every obligatory sewer level in the game with the city, this is the monster that haunts the sewers in my game, and he's actually optional. And so because he's optional, I made him a little bit tougher than the story encounter bosses, and his mechanics are a lot more involved than Persetti's. So he's much more, in my opinion, he's potentially a lot more difficult than the previous two bosses I covered in this series so far. And so yeah, let's get into some of his moves here. He starts the fight off with his Plague Breath move, which is actually it does guaranteed damage to you. So it has this attack, and you can block it like part of the attack, but no matter what, it'll always deal 10% of your HP. So classes that uh, like the Krajic Warrior that likes to hover around 1 HP a lot due to its class mechanics, this is not the class to take to this boss fight, at least in my opinion. So you want to keep your HP high because the Plague Breath move can wipe you out, can sneak up on you and wipe you out. And this attack actually is part of the snake of the Chimera. I actually have it where each part of the Chimera, the lion, the goat, and the snake, they all have attacks in this boss fight. So the snake has the poison element attacks, and the lion, as you can see here, has the bite attack. And because the screen is black, this bite is lethal. So if you miss your timings just once, it's game over right here. And he opens the fight with this. So he opens the fight, at least in the RX version, with the Plague Breath, which doesn't do a lot of damage, but if your HP is low, it can, it can catch you. And then he does the the Lion Bite attack, and then he does another Plague Breath. And then the fight starts, where you can actually start attacking. And the main mechanic of this fight is the goat aspect, or the goat part of this monster, which is the leap attacks. Now here's the thing. You see the two sewer pipes in the background, and you have to pay attention because whenever the goat leaps, you have to count how many leaps it takes, because how many leaps it takes actually determines how many times the sewage backflow will come out and hit the player. Like at each HP threshold check, Chimera Leo will do sewage backflow, which is what you see here. And the number of times it does it determines how many goat leaps it executes between each HP threshold check. And the thing is, its counter attack is the goat leaps. So if you let the boss counter you a lot, those leaps or those sewage backflow hits can add up, and you have to count them, because if you miscount, the fight's over. It'll insta kill you. And how it does it is that it actually checks. You have to dodge. You have to time the dodge window is easy, but the thing is, you have to press the dodge preemptively. So you count and you press the dodge button. And the thing is, it actually does it however many goat leaps it executed plus 1. And if you press the dodge button on that final extra hit, sewage backflow attack, it'll kill you. So the only way to really avoid that is to count how many leaps it does. And if you count correctly, then that final hit, it's almost like a ghost hit, where it won't hurt you if you don't press anything. So, and obviously if you don't press anything at all during this sequence, you're dead anyway. So you have to get the exact number of dodges or goat leaps counted properly. And in the RX version of the fight, he does a lot of leaps for each segment of the attack, each goat sequence of the attack. So that's the main thing you have to watch out for in this fight is the goat leaps, because the other attacks are manageable. Outside of that, he's not really too threatening. But so yeah, that's the main thing there. And also, whenever he does hit an HP threshold check, his mana goes to full, and you'll see this this water swirling around him. Now this water, you can actually change the color of this water from purple to blue, and when the water is purple, that means it's poison, and that's very dangerous because if you don't deplete its shields or its mana within a few attack cycles of the boss, he'll use a huge attack that'll just wipe you out, his plague charge attack. So you want to avoid that. And how you avoid that is either you deal enough damage to its shields before it kills you, or something I added to this fight is that you can actually apply the drench state to this boss. Yeah, there's different states that you can apply to your enemies, and drenching them is one of them. And when an opponent is drenched, they take double damage from electrical attacks. However, in this fight, it actually has unique properties in that when this boss is drenched, most of its attacks, it removes the poison element from its attack. So it's essentially like you cleanse the water, you cleanse the sewage, so to speak. So like the sewage backflow attack, when it uses that and it's drenched, that attack is no longer lethal. It still does a lot of damage, but it's no longer lethal, so you don't have to count anything. So you can just dodge and you're good. Also, its plague charge attack is not lethal anymore either. So you don't have to worry about the strict timing of getting its shields down in time, because it won't wipe you out. It'll do a lot of damage, but you can block it. It's avoidable. It won't insta kill. So that's the thing with this boss. If you go in and you drench it, then this fight is significantly easier. I would say it's easier than Carthamos. However, if you don't go in with the game plan to drench it, to add that state to it, then it's definitely harder than Mercedes. He's very difficult in that case, because you really have to be on top of your game. You really have to count those goat leaps. Otherwise, it's night. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of this boss. He's pretty simple. He doesn't have a whole lot of attacks. It's mainly that sewage backflow mechanic with the goat leaps. And yeah, I mean, he can poison you. He's immune to darkness element, so you want to take in light elemental cards and attacks. And he can poison you, so you got to be careful with that. But otherwise, he's a very straightforward boss. He's not too difficult, because I figured if you don't go in drenching him, this could be a really tough time. So and this is also sort of a unique thing where I'm experimenting with, where you have this mechanic where you actually have to count how many times you actually press the button, otherwise you'll be killed. I actually really like this mechanic. I think it's fun, and it forces the player to be more aware of what's going on in the fight, instead of just going in with their own game plan, just mindlessly doing their thing. You actually have to really pay attention and really be engaged to the boss on top of everything else that's going on. And if you're not careful, there's, this boss does have other insta-kill mechanics, like the bite attack too. So I think he's pretty fun. I'm pretty proud of how he turned out. I think it feels like you're fighting a Chimera monster. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this, making these bosses. I feel like I really cracked the code in how I should approach the design for these bosses, at least the big Aeon fights. I haven't touched the Magi fights yet, because they're kind of like a hybrid between like regular enemies and these Aeons. The mechanics aren't as sophisticated as the Aeons, but their AIs will be a lot more challenging to program, potentially. But yeah, this boss, Chimera Leo, he can be very tricky if you don't take in any drench ability. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think and take care.